So right here we have a San Diego deputy caught red-handed as a pedophile by a private investigator.
I don't know, do you have any questions for me before we kind of...
I will ask what this is about.
Yeah, so we're looking into some allegations that were made. We're kind of, it started with a Crime Stopper report, so we're just kind of going from there. We did receive a picture that, you know, when we looked into it, it looks similar to you, so I don't know if you can take a look at the picture and just tell me if you've seen this picture before. Oh, I have like 15 million things here. Okay. So this picture right here.
Yeah, that's definitely me with the gross one.
Okay, so this picture right here, how old were you when it was taken?
20.
20? Okay. Have you ever used this picture on any social media site?
I think it was Snapchat back in the day, yeah.
Okay. All right. Have you ever shared this picture with anybody on Snapchat?
Yeah, probably my...
He had it on Snapchat.
wife, to be honest. I mean, obviously I talked to other girls back in the day too, but I can't remember.
Okay. If you had to guesstimate how many times you may have shared the photo, how many times?
That one, maybe just a couple times, once or twice.
Okay, so definitely to your wife.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've used that photo for your wife, and you were about 20 years old in the photo. You did share it on Snapchat, and then maybe some other girls you were talking to?
I mean, yeah, this was a long time ago, so I don't really remember who it was.
Okay. Have you ever posted it as like your profile photo, or
No, that one
ever posted on Instagram? Oh, I forgot to ask you, are your accounts, is your Instagram and your Facebook, are they private?
They are.
Okay, and I know Snapchat is all private, right? I mean, you have to add somebody.
Yeah, I believe I had that. Yeah.
You can't just
request a friend.
Yeah, you can't just be anyone. So that one's at least a little bit better, where it's like you have to actively search for somebody, right? Okay, so you in the photo, and is that a ghost font? Is that ghost font?
Yeah, it's
Emma?
ghost font.
Okay, cool. That makes it very easy. So as far as like the picture, so this photo came up in connection with.
I have no idea why. I have no idea why she's acting so giddy and friendly. I mean, she's a private investigator. He's a cop. She should probably be ramming it down his throat that they know he's a pedophile. And if that photo is only used on his Snapchat or only sent out via Snapchat, the only people that are going to have access to it are people he invites onto his Snapchat.
Some allegations about you communicating with a younger female on Snapchat.
Okay.
Have you ever communicated with any females that we've already recognized that yes you have with your recruit from the past? Is there anyone else you've communicated with on Snapchat?
I mean, back then, no, just close friends and coworkers and stuff like that.
Anyone recently?
No.
Is there any reason why your phone number and email might be linked to a different Snapchat account?
No, I never had another one, just the jail and clear one.
Okay, so that phone number and email wouldn't be attached to
No.
any other account? Okay. All right.
I'm a little confused as to how this makes him caught red-handed as a pedo. I don't doubt it for a second. Always on Reddit. Always on Reddit. Everything I think or say in response to a video or any kind of a post, somebody in the comments and it's very highly rated. Says the same thing. A cop and a pedo? Ugh. He'll be the most popular guy in prison. Didn't even think of that. This guy is booked. Blah, 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 blah. Watch the video he has attached. You'll see how sick this MFer is. He sent pics to very young girls with his police uniform on, paid a 12-year-old for sex acts, and wanted to have a threesome with her and her friend. She said he got really excited when he found out her friend was only 9 years old. I hope he gets exactly what he deserves. Oh, and his wife is pregnant to top it all off. Yeah, homie got a lengthy prison sentence. Anyone other than a cop probably would have been given a much lengthier sentence, but for some dumb reason, instead of treating those violations of public trust and abuse of authority more harshly, everyone just says, oh, he's a cop, we should go easy. Fuck that. Cops who commit crimes should be sentenced far more harshly than some rando. In some countries, cops get double the punishment. I would support the cops getting maximum recommended time for each charge they're convicted of. Good. They should get the max and more. They are entrusted with power from the state and should be treated far more harshly. Those countries are doing it right. This country is a bunch of authoritarian bootlickers. Exactly. Thank you, thank you. Finally, somebody is saying this shit out loud. I mean, how pathetic is it that there's just crickets when I say, and I'm sure other people believe the same thing, this is actually, no shit, the first time I have seen this in print, online, from somebody, that public servants should be held to the highest standard of accountability and professionalism. Being a public servant is the type of job where you screw up in the slightest. You fuck up just once, you should be out on your ass. You're paid for by tax dollars. You hold the public trust. Any kind of position that is designed in servitude to the public, anytime you get even slightly out of line, it should be the harshest punishment you could imagine. But that guy's right. This country is full of authoritarian bootlickers. And even people who would think exactly how I do and how these people do, they are fed so much propaganda, they don't even understand what their rights are. We have not taught civics in public schools in like 40 years. People don't know what their rights are. They don't know what other people's rights are. There are so many people that have a problem grasping the concept that other people have rights, that whatever rights you expect for yourself in a free nation, it goes the same for everybody else. People don't seem to understand that concept. And this is what happens as a result. Yeah, you can't just give a person any authority to demand obedience under penalty of death from literally anyone without making the punishment for abusing that authority significantly harsher than it would be for a normal citizen, at least not in a real free country. Ironic, their biggest supporters are the type to wax on all day about how they need guns to protect themselves from a tyrannical government. Thank you. that is another problem. And people just flip their shit when I say this. You know, if the Second Amendment is supposed to be about protecting you and yours and pretty much any other citizen from government overreach, why are we watching videos of people getting their skulls bashed in and their necks kneeled on? Why do we have anything like this going on at all? We have a Second Amendment. It's supposed to be when the government or any force of government or authority, state authority, oversteps their bounds. Why am I not seeing videos of people shooting cops for shoving senior citizens to the pavement? Why are we not seeing videos of people using deadly force against police for crossing the line with other people? That's supposed to be what your Second Amendment is all about, isn't it? We have like 4.5 guns to every person in this country. And you probably will never see as much shit about police corruption and brutality and all kinds of bullshit going on with police than you would anywhere else in the world outside of third world nations. And then there's that famous tweet. It's been posted like 50 times on Reddit, where the guy is like, I need the right to bear arms. I need my AR-15 because, you know, if somebody denies my child health care, I might have to hijack a plane and force them to fly into another nation so that I can get my child the care that he desperately needs. This is literally what some guy posted on Twitter. And of course, the gotcha comeback is, I need the right to have an AR-15 so that I can hijack a plane and take my child to a country with socialized health care, is my latest favorite take on the pro-gun argument. It's so lost on these people. It's so sad, but you know, and that's another thing. So your kid can get health care. So you need an automatic weapon in order to terrorize other people with children so that your little junior son of a bitch can get the health care that they need. So fuck everybody else, right? There are tons of people who suffer and die because of lack of adequate health care. There are children out there right now that are suffering and dying because of lack of adequate health care in this nation. Where are you? Why aren't you pulling a John Q on your local hospital? Why don't you go in there even if you don't personally know any children that need health care? Just go into your local hospital. There's enough guns and there's enough gun nuts across this nation. We could really, really change some things. Fuck storming the Capitol. Storm your local hospital. Go ahead. Go into your hospital, hold it up, and for the entire day, just force doctors to treat people for free. Maybe they figured that as both a cop and a child rapist in prison, 12 years is probably a decade longer than his life expectancy. Oh my God. Personal computer. Yeah, right. Feel bad for his wife. I give up. Extended interview. Well, this is actually from 2020, so. On Fox News just now, could aliens have killed these cows? Yeah, ever since good old Tucker Carlson was shit canned, everybody knows about it, but Fox News is not mentioning a word about it. Nancy Pelosi swimsuit pics in Tucker Carlson's office raise questions. Okay. Most ass kissing I've ever seen. You know, I think it really sucks. I think people are jumping the gun a little bit here, getting all happy because Tucker Carlson is shit canned and everything. I don't think it really matters. I think maybe people, first of all, they're just happy that Tucker is shit canned because he's such a smug little weasel. And that's fine. Then again, we already know about what he says behind closed doors when it came to Trump and everything. Ultimately, this guy is just a shill. He was doing what he liked to do to make his money. It didn't matter what bullshit he was peddling. And where he falls, 5 of them will rise up in his place. I mean, yeah, it's nice to gloat for about 5 minutes that he's probably all humiliated now that he was so gung-ho with all the crap he was saying on Fox that, first of all, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter. He would say whatever the hell he had to say so long as somebody was paying him and paying him handsomely. And it doesn't matter that he's even fired. He's not going to give a shit. What does he have to his name? Like $20-30 million probably? How much was he getting paid a year while he was on Fox? Like 4 or 5 million, somewhere in that ballpark? He's not going to starve. You're not going to see Tucker Carlson in the unemployment line. You're not going to see Tucker Carlson at a food bank. You're not going to see him at your local human services office applying for welfare or Medicaid. Tucker Carlson is going to be just fine. And in his place, there will be a whole string of people that they can put in his time slot who will gladly do the same thing that he did. They will peddle bullshit for millions of dollars a year, and nobody will be the wiser. Nobody will truly know exactly what they're thinking or what they stand for, because that person isn't going to matter, because they're getting paid. They'll say whatever the fuck Fox tells them to say to keep that paycheck. I mean, I'm glad I don't have to look at this anymore. I'm really, really happy that we no longer have to see anymore. The only face he has on him 24/7. You want to smack it off. Even back in the bow tie days, before he was on Fox. And he never bothers to fix it. I mean, I'm happy for that. Never having to see on my screen anymore. But they're going to pick somebody else, somebody with shitty hair or over bright, obviously fake cap teeth, or some Janine Pirro looking woman who looks like a freaking leather handbag, and you're going to hate them even more for these different quirks, and it's not going to matter. They're all going to suck. And then there's people. That's one thing I'm really happy about, which I think people should be happy about. Not that Tucker's gone, not that we don't have to look at anymore on our screen, not that he must be so humiliated getting shit canned, because he's not. Even if we were to believe Fox that he didn't get any type of severance package, the guy is wealthy. He was a Nepo baby to begin with, and he got paid millions from Fox every year. Like I said, he ain't going to starve. What we should be happy about is that now this is going to divide the Fox crowd even more. This is going to be dividing the GOP even more, because now you got a bunch of people that actually think that Tucker Carlson believes a lot of the shit that he's been peddling on Fox. And they're looking to him blindly as some false idol like they did with Trump, where Tucker goes, we go. Tucker is off of Fox News. It's because Fox News has gone woke, and we're leaving Fox News. Good, good. Fox News is still a pile of horse shit. But now if some of these people think it's because Fox has gone woke, then good. That's what the good part of this is. I could give a shit, what people think about Fox News, that they want to leave it good. Like I said, Fox has done to the older generations especially what those older generations thought that MTV and video games and black clothes were going to do to us. When I was growing up, my parents blocked MTV because they thought it was rotting my brain or whatever. And I don't really think it did. I don't know. But one thing I can tell you now is that I have seen over the past 5 to 10 years, Fox News and other right-wing propagandist networks rot my parents' brains. I have seen a decline, a quite rapid and quite disturbing decline in logic, in common sense, in decency, in the amount of respect that they show for others. Everything about their personalities and the workings of their brain has gone downhill. And it's all Fox News right-wing bullshit coming out of their mouths. We can barely recognize our parents anymore. And that's what Fox has done to the older generations. That's what right-wing propagandist networks have done to mostly the older generations. And if people want to say that they got rid of Tucker Carlson because they've gone woke, good. Then it'll get them the hell off of Fox. I could give a shit what their reasoning is or what Fox's real reasoning is. I don't care. If it divides the people who were victimized by Fox and it keeps a good portion of them from tuning into Fox, good. It will further divide them come next election, and it will be a good thing for them. Just like, blocking MTV was supposed to be the best thing for me. Getting as many people as possible off of Fox News is the best thing for them. Abso-fucking-lutely. There it is again. That goddamn face. Blah, 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 blah. Absolutely appalling.
The Surgeon General, a DeSantis DeSchmuckus appointee. I'm coining that phrase right here. You heard it here. DeSchmuckus. Surgeon General, a Ron DeSchmuckus appointee and anti-vaccine propagandist, changed data to make COVID vaccines look dangerous. Egregious scientific and medical misconduct only equaled by the sheer insanity of the fraud. I'm going to be honest here. I doubt that actual Surgeon General's warnings had anything to do with the anti-vax bullshit conspiracy nut job crap going around the past few years. People are just fucking insane to begin with. This Surgeon General, I'll put money on it, is just another anti-vax nutcase who decided after the fact, after becoming Surgeon General, to doctor data to fit his personal narrative. It isn't like his putting it out is the reason all these nutcases think the vaccine is dangerous. Oh, Marjorie Three-Toed Sloth Green. Pretty funny that AOC celebrates Tucker being deplatformed while also bowing down to her party that won't host a single presidential primary debate to allow anyone or any minority a chance against the old white man she supports. I laugh at her hypocrisy. She's a hypocritical psycho. First of all, how the fuck would you know whether or not she's celebrating? I haven't seen one fucking tweet, one public statement from AOC blowing party poppers because Tucker Carlson got deplatformed. Or let's just say fired. I mean, did she say anything at work? If so, where's your proof? See, what we got here is Marjorie Three Toes Green assuming that this is what other people are doing. Assuming that this is what her detractors are doing and her political opponents are doing. Because jackasses like MTG think that everybody thinks the way they do. They think everybody else is a shithead like they are. So, if AOC got thrown out of Congress, she would be having a party. She would be completely out of line, making a big deal about it. Like it was the best news in the world. That's what Three Toes would be doing. So, Tucker Carlson gets fired, and in her mind, AOC is just wasting her time celebrating. No, AOC would be a lot smarter than that. AOC would understand that one right-wing shill being fired doesn't really mean anything. Not in the abstract. Fucker falls, there are a dozen more ready to take his place. It doesn't fix anything. Firing Tucker Carlson is like a small band-aid over a wound that more than anything else was just festering and infected and ugly to look at. If you really want to know what Tucker Carlson said, listen to Glenn Greenwald. Tucker was the cable host who most opposed U.S. proxy war in Ukraine, denounced CIA, FBI, and DHS for its systemic lies and corruption, devoted himself to a pardon for Julian Assange, objected to regime change efforts in Cuba, criticized Trump administration's militarism. He also accurately covered and challenged the dirty war on Syria, including the OPCW's Duma cover-up scandal. Unlike everyone else on cable TV and almost all of leftist media. Alrighty then. Before we discuss a maximum age for presidents, let's discuss a minimum IQ for lawmakers. I still say, and I stick by this, you need to take, it should be required, again, with this holding public servants truly accountable. As we can tell today, elections are no longer enough. We need something more than an election. We need publicly released results of competency tests surrounding whatever issue is in question. If people in, North Dakota can decide on their own to censure a trans representative, keep her from doing anything on her job after she was duly elected by the people, then we can definitely require competency tests For example, anything that comes to abortion or women's rights, you're going to have to take a competency test. You're going to have to prove that you know what you're talking about. You're going to have to prove that you understand facts. You're going to have to prove that you understand the parts composing a woman's body, what those parts do, how the menstrual cycle works, how abortion works. You're going to have to cite accurate statistics. For example, if you try to say that a Plan B pill kills 50 million women a year, then you're going to fail the competency test. You are in no position to make any decisions on the issue. That type of shit. And actually, don't even wait for them to get the job. Competency tests should be a requirement for everybody running for office. There should be competency tests on all the main issues. Maybe which tests they take can be determined by the public at random. They have to score a certain grade on it. There's a dozen different ways we could put this together. If I were given the opportunity, I would love to draft some of these tests and go about proctoring our representatives in taking these tests. I'm sure 1 million people would. Ted Cruz said that school shootings take place because we removed God from the public square. Texas is 93% Christian and has a fatal school shooting every year. Japan is 2% Christian and has never had a school shooting. Worst theory ever. Yeah, don't forget the whole thing about them saying that they wanted to, take over Twitter and social media because that is a digital public square. If God is removed from your public square, any public square, then you should probably leave the public square. Yeah, throw Christo-fascist morons off of social media. Imagine seeing a bloated, Cheeto-hued, word-slurring, one-term septuagenarian. I don't think that's how you spell that. With 2 impeachments, 0 social media accounts, and any number of ongoing criminal investigations, who cost your party the Oval, the Senate, and the House, and thinking to yourself, yup, that's my guy. Okay? Don Lemon and Tucker Carlson should co-host a show. What should it be called? The Odd Couple? The New Odd Couple? Ah, that face. Oh yeah. This is fucking ridiculous. MAGA mom on Twitter violates a child's privacy, follows it up with sexualized comments and threats. This person's name is Mrs. Massacre. This kid goes to school with my daughter. This is a boy. A boy. We live in Montana, which is extremely conservative. This stuff is infecting even the most rural of states. This is why I don't stop talking about the stuff like Dylan Mulvaney, because outrage is the only way to curb it. Is he allowed to go to the restroom with your daughter? Hell no, that boy would be walking even further. What the fuck does that even mean? Oh, walking even funnier. So she is going to threaten a child. By the way, I bet he is using the women's restroom. I've seen the original photo. It's just a kid wearing a skirt. This creepy bitch decided to take a picture of this kid and post it all over the internet. Reminds me of how the conspiracy theorist loser James O'Keefe decided to stalk, harass, and film Dylan Mulvaney. I wonder how she would react to a stranger taking a photo of her kid and posting it on the internet. Bet you $1 they'd say it was illegal. Is it not? Only when it's not them doing it. Yeah. Yup. If this were a photo of her kid, it wouldn't even matter if it is in public. She'd freak the fuck out. What it is supposed to look like when a dictator is standing next to someone he has no power over. I don't know. Depends on what they're talking about. Special report. A 13-year-old boy was publicly groomed for weeks on Twitter, abducted, driven across state lines, and prosecutors say sexually assaulted. Users tried to alert Musk as the suspect's account stayed up for days after the kidnapping. God, I'll never get over how gorgeous that girl is. Or was. I remember seeing the made-for-TV movie about her. And I could tell looking at this photograph, they made up and phoned in a lot of shit. Plus, I vaguely remember the made-for-TV movie actress not looking half as attractive as she does in real life. Florida restaurant owner says on Fox Business that Bud Light partnering with a trans woman has led to the most difficult 2 weeks we've ever experienced in our life. Ew. If your faith is threatened by another human existing, then it's a failing and deeply broken faith, and explains why Christianity is collapsing in the United States. Good one. City of Akron has had a federal injunction placed on them prohibiting them from tear gassing protesters. So they have resorted to carjacking residents over seatbelt violations. See? This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. Who the fuck is in charge in this country? Who far outvotes whom? Man, if I ran things in this country just 6 months, would be like Iran for these fucking pigs. I'm telling you. Bill O'Reilly got ousted from Fox News primetime slot for sexually harassing women. Tucker Carlson got shit canned because his lies cost the network $787 million. Fox's top host disappearing like Defense Against the Dark Arts teachers at Hogwarts. Now, I thought Tucker Carlson was supposed to have been fired because of another sexual harassment suit. So apparently they're just using him as a scapegoat for this settlement, which is nothing to them, by the way. That's why everybody's pissed. Yeah, it's a lot of money, but it's not half of what they could have gotten. The Reawaken America tour is a cavalcade of MAGA cultists and COVID-19 election QAnon conspiracy theorists. So it's actually surprising it has taken this long for them to hold an event at one of Trump's properties. Reawaken America tour. I thought your problem was America was too woke. America is already woke. God, these people are so fucking stupid. According to NYT, this interview that Don Lemon conducted last week with Vivek Ramaswamy played a role in his firing. Note co-host Poppy Harlow sitting silently while Lemon goes after Vivek.
And actually insulting, including to black Americans, to say that black people today, compared to 1964, 1865, haven't made progress in part because of the freedoms we secured. And the Second Amendment was
black
part
people,
of what secured
hang on,
that
please.
freedom.
I cannot keep a thought if you guys are talking to me in my ear. So hang on 1 second. So to say that black people, say what you said again?
Black people secured their freedoms after the Civil War. It is a historical fact, Don. Just study it. Only after their Second Amendment rights were secured. That's a
not
fact.
secured their freedoms after the Civil War. That is not. You are discounting Reconstruction. You're discounting a whole host of things that happened after the Civil War when it comes to African Americans, including the whole reason that the civil rights movement happened is because black people did not secure their freedoms after the Civil War, and that things turned around. People tried to change the freedoms that were supposed to happen.
And you know how they got it?
War
They got their Second Amendment rights, and they actually got the NRA played a big role in that. But today, down the
NRA did not play a big role in
absolutely,
that.
they trained black Americans how to use firearms.
That's a lie. That's not. The NRA did not play a big role in that.
This is just historical fact. But
It's not historical fact.
The part that I
Just
find
because you say it's historical fact.
the part that I find
historical
insulting is when you say today black Americans don't have those rights after we have gone through civil rights revolution in this country.
You are sitting here telling an African American about the rights and what you find insulting about the way I live, the skin I live in every day.
Here's where you and I have
the
a different
freedoms
point
that
of view.
black and white that black people don't have in this country, and that black people do have.
Well, here's where you and I have a different point of view. I think we should be able to express our views regardless of the color of our skin. We should have this debate
I'm not saying you
without
shouldn't
me
express your
regarding
views,
you as a
but I
black
think
man,
it's insulting that
but
you're
me
sitting
regarding you
here,
as a fellow citizen.
that you're
That's what I
sitting
think we
here,
should see.
whatever ethnicity you are, explaining to me
Whatever ethnicity I am,
about
I'll
what
tell
it's
you.
like to be black.
Whatever
in America.
ethnicity I am, I'll tell you what I am. I'm an Indian American. I'm proud of it. But I think we should have this debate. Black, white, doesn't matter.
I think we should have this
on
debate.
the content of the idea.
You should do it in an honest way and in a fair way. And what you're doing is not an honest and fair way. Okay? But we appreciate you coming on.
With
Thank
due
you for
respect,
that.
Don, I look forward to
Thank you very
continuing
much.
that
I appreciate
conversation.
it. We'll
Thank you.
continue the conversation.
Thank you.
So much.
Thank you, Papa.
We'll talk about China.
Yes, let's talk about China.
Next time you come back.
Oh, thank you. Much to say on declaring independence from China.
Okay,
Something you
can
can
we
add
move
on.
on now, please?
Thank you.
And this guy wants to run for the GOP. For the presidency for the GOP. Don Lemon did absolutely nothing wrong in this interview. Bullshit. They fired Don Lemon because they wanted to get a fresh face on CNN. A few weeks back, they called him a misogynist because he didn't think a Cuban woman should have hosted Black in America segment. Thought he should have gotten that job. He was accused of being a diva, always stepping on people to get ahead, which they tried to say was him hating women. It's not misogyny if he was an asshole to everyone as it relates to his own career advancement, and he was. This interview wasn't it. Doesn't even look like the straw that broke the camel's back, if I'm being honest. Yeah, that's what I say. I like how they point out Poppy Harlow sitting silently. As a white dude, I would 100% not try to interject myself into this conversation about people of color on live national TV either. Ever since CNN was bought out by AT&T Time Warner, they've been moving to the right. So it's not terribly surprising they would begin firing the more liberal hosts. Based on Dominion evidentiary filings, Carlson was almost the only one who was calling Powell a liar and pushing back against the stolen election narrative internally. He was told to shut up and keep telling the viewers what they wanted to hear. Those facts went a long way towards proving Fox's actual malice, that they knew what they were saying was false and did it anyway. If Carlson hadn't pushed back at all in his internal chats and emails, Dominion's case would have been more difficult. So the irony is it's more likely he was fired for not drinking the Kool-Aid, which cost Fox more money. Vivek Ramaswamy here. Look, we're diverse, we're inclusive. identity race politics are exhausting and not out of the goodness of their hearts. It's just to manipulate and get vote. Duh. Yeah, of course. You think these people give a shit about minorities and people of color?
Thank you.
Dude, if the GOP had their way, if the Christo-fascists had their way, this guy would be out on his ass. He'd be on a train.
This only happened.
So I can.
Ugh. Nearly 20% of Gen Z is LGBT. 1 in 5 people. Traditionalists. I think that is called the silent generation. Yep. Looks about as expected. The further along we come, the higher the numbers go. Solid MAGA logic. Ask your MAGA audience to verify a MAGA lie to cheer about the result and get ratioed. 70% of Americans voted for Donald Trump, not the senile old man occupying the White House named Joe Biden. Let's get a sample size. True, false, not sure. And the falses have it. Not by much, so, I don't know. I wouldn't be bragging about that. In the last 5 years, Gorsuch felt obliged to disclose his receipts of a fishing rod, a watercolor painting, and cowboy boots. Alito disclosed the gift of a bronze cast of a hand. But Clarence Thomas refused to disclose trips on a billionaire's private jet for his own personal pleasure. How are you going to get fired on your day off? And there it is, Akron PD. See, this is their retaliation. Because they can't tear gas people, they're going to look for other ways to terrorize them. And you want to know something? It's Ohio. I don't expect any real smarts from these people. But Jesus Christ. Going back to that Second Amendment, where's your where's your fighting back against state tyranny? Where is it? Extremely stupid, Marjorie. Holy shit. half of this shit, they really, really seriously vote against time and time again. I ain't even gonna read Three Toes bullshit. Somebody else, a lot of somebody else's, are going to come back at her with the factual rebuttals to each and every one of those statements. Okay, it's been an hour. I am done. What the hell is BBM? If your ass is even still here, I don't care. Alright. I'm not going to explain anything about my progress with Resident Evil 4 Remake. I will just see you on the remake soon. Again. Mwah.